Welcome to another Chef Knives to Go Quick Look product review. I'm Steve Gamache, and this time we are checking out a handmade 270 knife. This is the Anryu hammered blue number 2 Gyuto 270 millimeter knife. This line of knives has a core steel of Awagami or blue paper number 2 Hitachi reactive carbon steel. The heat treat on that core steel is about 62 Rockwell, and the construction is a stainless steel cladding over the top of that Awagami number 2 core. So this is a 3-layer sandwich with softer stainless on each side of that core steel. And that cladding is hammered with the finish, and that's known as a tsushime finish. And this particular maker, their hammer marks have more on this knife line. They've got more of a kind of a uniform row-like appearance than a random pattern as on some other knives. So that's kind of their particular look. The weight on this knife is 192 grams, 6.8 ounces, and you might say that's pretty light for a 270, and it is. This has a light, nimble feel that just simply doesn't fit how big it is, so it's really surprising how light and nimble, we'll talk more about that, this is, but that's pretty cool. The blade length is 273 on this, and these dimensions and weights will vary a little bit from knife to knife since they are all handmade. And the overall length is about 17 inches, so this is a big knife. The spine thickness coming out of the handle above the back of the blade or the chin here is about 3.35 millimeters. Again, those will vary, but that thins out quite rapidly and gets much thinner, pretty much maintains that thinness till you hit the grind of the knife towards the tip. So not a lot of distal taper per se as you get towards the tip. This particular blade, again, a longer knife is harder to make uniform, so this has a little bit of a thinner spine right in here. Then you can just feel it with your fingers. It thickens up just a little bit right in here before it thins back out again towards the tip. So you can kind of see that on the cladding. So this particular one just has a little bit of variance on the spine thickness. The blade height on this one is about 54.8 millimeters, so almost 55 tall. And the handle is their standard oval ambidextrous rosewood with a pack-of-wood ferrule. I think on some of these I put ebony before, but these certainly look like pack-of-wood to me. Fit and finish is very good on the handle, and this particular one has a circumference of about 3 inches right here where the ferrule and the wood meet. And very comfortable handle. This has Anryu's signature curved choil or back of the blade into the neck or imoto, right into the handle, and this has a nice relief to it, so it's very, very comfortable, and the spine is relieved enough as well to make that comfortable. So there's really nothing you'd have to do out of the box in terms of fit and finish on this. The out-of-the-box edge was quite good, solid 6 or 7 out of 10, and this particular one had punched through the box and had a bit of a tip bent in it, so I had to grind down just enough of the spine to take that imperfection out, maybe not even a millimeter. And then it had a bump in the profile here, a fairly good sized bump, so I took to some stones and took the profile down a little bit and flattened it out. We'll get a look at that. So this one's been modified a little bit. Also, this one had a bit of a bend to the blade during the forward third, which is not unusual for a clad, hand-hammered, longer knife like this. If you're getting a 270 handmade knife and a hand-hammered knife, you may just want to put a note when you order it to just check for straightness, because they're pretty easy to straighten out, and the guys at Chef Knives to Go can do that pretty easily. They've got a lot of experience with that. So let's take a close-up look at the blade. And here is their tsushime or hammered finish, and then you can see core steel showing through at the edge. This has really cool, pretty deeply engraved hand chiseled kanji, and impress your friends at parties. Put this under some light and move it around, and the kanji will kind of dance around a little bit. It's a pretty neat effect. Some other knives will do that as well. The Masakage Yuki line has that effect as well. It's pretty neat. So it's a nice effect. Again, fit and finish is really very good on the blade, and I've been using it a bit, testing the profile and such, so it's got a bit of a patina on it as well. So let's see, balance point, let's back off a little bit here. Balance point on this is pretty close to a pinch grip, slightly in front, but the blade is quite light for its size, as I mentioned, so my pinch grip comes just behind that, so it just gives you a slight weight forward balance from a pinch grip, and it's very comfortable with this curve into the handle to lock your finger in place. So very, very comfortable. Let's take a look at it on our cutting board. As I said, I tweaked the profile on this a little bit to take the bump out, and by necessity I kind of had to flatten it a little bit. So I just tweaked it a bit, put it on a board, tweaked it a little bit. Of course, you have to sharpen it once you're done. You could probably use a little bit of blade thinning after all that, but I'm not going to mess with the knife to that degree. But so this particular profile kind of rolls in fairly flat at the heel. I pretty much got it where it's kind of a smooth roll, and it's got a nice long flat spot on it. So if you're looking for a nice flat back half on a 270, this will go up as a video knife, and this particular one has probably a bit flatter profile than some of them. So it kind of rolls into a stop at the heel. You could, of course, tweak this a little bit more, but it's a pretty good flow. I think I've got it pretty well set. And again, you've got a pretty flat back half to the blade. I can get fairly high on this, being 270. It digs in about right there, but you can cover pretty nice ingredient height on this. And being a 270, you don't have to have so much handle lift. That's one of the benefits of a longer blade. So if we want to look at the profile this way, performance of this knife I thought is excellent. These knives are highly recommended and frequently recommended on the Chef Knives to Go forum, and for good reason. They're just good all-around knives. They don't necessarily do any one thing spectacularly well. They just do almost everything reasonably to very well, and so they're just excellent blades, good all-around blades. They'd be a good introduction for somebody wanting to go to a stainless clad carbon cord knife with some personality and just good all-around characteristics. So there you have a nice lineup from Chef Knives to Go. This is the Anryu hammered Aogami or blue paper number 2 Gyuto 270mm knife.